Hi everyone, this is Aisha, and this is my March wrap-up. Now I read 17 books for the month of March, or 16 books and one novella, and yeah. I was aiming for a lot more, but the last book of the month really put me in a slump. It took me 2 weeks to read a book that normally would take me 2 to 3 days. Um, so here we go. I only read 17 books in the month of March, and that kind of had to do with the last book I read, which I gave 1 star, and I'll start with that one first. It was a horrible book. It took me 2 weeks, and this is the first time I've had a miss with this author, and that is Tart by Lauren Dane. This took forever to read. It started off good. A little conversations were a little but I still loved them. The character of Julie started off great with the character of Jules, who is a baker and she owns her own shop and she's got a group with her friends called Delicious. And I was super excited to read it. And then halfway into the book, a character does something that I think is reprehensible. And personally, I would have karate chopped him in the throat. And then it just sent the book downhill from there because I no longer cared about any of the characters. I thought their reactions were unrealistic. And yeah, this is the first Lauren Dane book I've read that I've absolutely hated. And I've never had that problem before. It was, and I was in a contemporary mood. I was in the mood for a menage. Just this was a fail. And if you weren't aware of, I've read most of the Brown series, but I haven't read all of them. And if you weren't aware, this is a side, I was not aware, this is a side piece to the the Brown siblings. And if you have not read all the Brown sibling books, this is a spoiler book because it gives you character pieces and stories that you did not know if you had not read their stories. So, yeah, about that. 1 star. The rest of the month was actually really, really good for me. I started the month off with some really awesome books. I finished February with Rule by Jay Crownover, and I just could not make it through the month and wait to get the other 2 books, so I went ahead and bought them. Yes, I broke the book buying ban, sue me. And broke the book buying ban, and I purchased Jet by Jane Crownover. Read that in one night, gave it 4 stars. And then I bought Rome. Read that in one night. I gave it 5 stars. I would give it more if I could. And because I fangirled all over them and, tweeted and texted and emailed and just basically stalked Jay, she was kind enough to pass on my really kind words to her publicist, and they loved me enough to give me a copy of Nash, which was phenomenal. 5 freaking stars. I love Nash. Love, love. And I cannot wait for the next one. Cannot wait. You guys, if you've not read the series, this is an amazing series. The Markman series is phenomenal. I love Rome more than I love cake. And I love cake, as you can tell. But yeah, Nash, Rule, and Jet. Having, you know, gotten on that nice little 4 and 5 star high, I went ahead and picked up Sex and the Single Vamp by Robin Covington. This is for a blog tour. I'll leave a link down below. I love this book. 5 stars. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It was a different take on vampires. It was sexy. It was steamy. It was, the female character is funny. She was witty. She was everything awesome. I loved her, and I would love to see more from the world. The next one I read was a reread because I just needed to keep on that new adult high. And I went ahead and reread Sweet by Aaron McCarthy. Now this does not count on the Goodreads challenge, but it is a reread. I read it in February. Loved it so much. This is the story of Riley and Jessica. And I love them together because they're so raunchy and so funny, and they curse so much, and they're so unromantic and romantic in their own way. I love their story because they were the most, out of all of the couples, the 3 books that I've read, this was the most real. I felt this was the most realistic look at a romance. The clashes, everything. It was just 5 freaking stars once again, and if I could give it more and have it count, I would. Next book I read, because I was on that new adult kick, was Wrecked by Priscilla West. This book kind of started off different from others, and somewhere along the way it lost the plot. So I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It wasn't bad. It was very intriguing enough for me to pick up Rescued, which is the second book. Yes, I went ahead and broke the book buying ban again. This one I got from NetGalley. I just it was good, but somewhere along the way it lost the plot, so I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It was kind of overdramatic, but it did kind of make me remember my college days, so I really enjoyed this one. Next one I read was a continuation. This is the second book I read by Tawny Weber, and I went ahead and looked for and found a couple of her books that are for free on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. And I picked up this one from NetGalley, and this was A Seal's Kiss. I gave this 4.5 stars. I believe I gave it 5 stars. 4.5, 5 stars. It was good. It was funny. It pulled me in. It was engaging. The characters were crazy. They were witty. And I thought they did well together. So I gave it 4.5 stars. Another book I read for the month was Ask Me for More, which is the second book in the Homeland series. And this is by Elise Ackers. This is an Australian book, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Next one is Dial M for Minaj, which was a great follow-up to Minaj on 34th Street, which was a Christmas novella by Emily Ryan Davis. So I'll leave a link down below to my review. I gave it 4.5 stars. I had a few issues. I'm wondering if this is going to be a series because of the way she ended it and didn't answer a couple of questions. But at the same time, it was kind of a really good relationship. The characterization I thought was wonderful. The emphasis on communication I thought was wonderful. There were a few issues I had in there with one of the males where I wanted to take him out back and punch him a good few times so he would get his head out of his ass. But I still enjoyed it. It kept me glued. So I started off reading Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. Finished it. Loved it. Went ahead and started reading Walking Disaster. And I took a break from that. And followed up with Mrs. Maddox, which was a small novella. Which is the little novella I was talking about. It was less than 10 pages. Then I read A Beautiful Wedding, also by Jamie McGuire. I will say for A Beautiful Disaster, I gave it 5 stars. I enjoyed the story. I loved the way it ended, the way their relationship came out. There was things in here, of course, that are kind of brutal and should have been addressed, which is what I think she tried to do in A Beautiful Wedding. However, I hated the way she addressed it in A Beautiful Wedding. I think it changed the way you looked at the characters in this book. And I probably shouldn't have read this till I read Walking Disaster. But yeah, I gave this 2.5 stars. Mrs. Maddox, which was the small novella, I can't really give it stars because it's only like 10 pages, if that. It's just a scene. But I enjoyed it. And then the very last ebook that I read, I know I said I read the last ebook, but the very last ebook I read was a children's book, and this is called The Last Acaway. I hope you can see it. It's very bright. It's the story of Brody Boondoggle, and I think this is a great novel for middle grade, particularly for boys. I read it to both my goddaughter and my godson, and they enjoyed it. My godson he's turning 11, and my goddaughter is 4. And they both enjoyed it. It's a really good story about getting outside and enjoying life, and discovering spirit animals and the magic in the world and the hope that children bring. I thought it was very enjoyable. I gave it 4.5 stars. I did find it a little preachy at times. The kids didn't, because they didn't really understand. But he kind of repeated himself a bit. But I guess that's the way to get the lesson across, is to repeat it a couple of times. But it bothered me because I was the one reading it to them, but it didn't bother them. And it didn't bother my godson when he was reading it to his sister. So yes, The Last Acaway, I thought this was wonderful. I'll leave a link to my review down below. And then to finish up the month, I went ahead and read Wild Cards by Simone Eccles. This is a BEA copy from 2013. I enjoyed this. I gave this 4.5 stars, or maybe 5 stars. I'll leave a link below to my review. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a different take on the I thought it was a different take on the popular football player and the new person love story. I had no idea what it was about going in. I didn't read the synopsis. I just know everyone was loving it. Simone Eccles gets a lot of hype, and I think this one lived up to it. There are a few moments in the book that are concerning, but I think the characters handled them well. If there are more books in the series, I will be checking them out, you know, and I enjoyed this. The last book of the month that I read was 77 Things You Absolutely Must Do Before You Finish College. And this is by Haley Bondi. I'll leave a link down below to my review. I did the review already. I counted how many I did, and I did 17. My sister counted how many she did, and she did 45. Yeah, thanks for making me feel unaccomplished. This was excellent. I had a lot of fun talking to the rep at Zest, who discovered that she'd only done 15, and she's like, well, she's gonna sign up for college just to see if she could do some more. I think this one is entertaining. It's great for freshmen or juniors. I think they would enjoy the book more. I gave it 4 stars. A couple of different college students read it and they enjoyed it. They did point out that as broke college students, they can't afford $15 books, especially for something that's this small. So this would be great to give to a college student. The last book of the month on my ebook that I read was The Naughty Bits, a Lingerie Shop, which is a serial by Joey W. Hill. If you have not read erotica and BDSM, unless you've read her, she is phenomenal. That's it for the month of March. Those were my 17 books, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment below if you enjoyed any of these books as well. If you know any other books that, just based on what you've seen here, that I should read and check out. As you can see, I read quite a bit of everything. So leave a comment. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Yes, I do reviews on Pinterest too. And all the relevant links are down below. Thanks, guys. Bye.